It's no secret that the ATF is sort of the embodiment of ants at a picnic in the gun world. Like, you guys showed up? This sucks, right? Whether we're talking about the constant flip-flopping on pistol braces, the nonsense with bump stocks, or even their own illegal gun trafficking over the years, it seems that everything they do is powered not by logic or written law, but rather the scent of tyranny. It also seems that elected officials have taken notice of this, and one bill aims to, at least in part, halt that bullshit. We're going to break it down after this. TA Targets offers some of the most innovative and robust target systems money can buy. Featuring AR-550 steel and forward-thinking build quality, these targets are built to last. Whether you're blasting every day or plinking on the weekends, TA Targets has something for everyone. To get 10% off your entire order, head over to tatargets.com and use our code TGC10. Welcome back to The Gun Collective. My name is Jon Patton, and you are watching the fight for gun rights. If you own a pistol brace, go ahead and get subscribed to stay up to date on the anti-gun nonsense from our state and federal governments. Now, the bill that I mentioned in the opening, it's called the ATF Accountability Act of 2021, and according to the folks that are pushing it, it will create an appeals process for the firearms industry so they are not subject to unchecked bureaucratic rulings that impact American jobs and attempt to restrict access to firearms. Sounds wonderful, right? It's rare that we can say that about legislation, so let's bask in it. Before we break it down entirely, we'll talk about who is introducing the bill. I feel like that bears importance in this case. It's a bipartisan bill, which means that someone from both the Republican and Democrat parties are involved. In this case, they are both Texans. There is Congressman Dan Crenshaw and Congressman Henry Cuellar. Bipartisan support these days seems to be incredibly important, so that's positive, right? Like, it's a good thing that there's two people, a Republican, an R and a D, right? I do have some reservations right off the bat, though, because Dan Crenshaw supporting red flag legislation in the past is a huge problem for me. However, I'm going to try and look past that and share this with you guys from a, less biased perspective. It's also important to note that a relatively new pro-gun group called Firearms Regulatory Accountability Coalition, or FRAC, worked with these guys to get this bill introduced. Okay, so this bill seeks to amend Title 18 of U.S. law, which is the Crimes Code, specifically 18 U.S.C. 923, which is the Federal Firearms Licensing section. I'll link to that in the description of this video so you guys can see the current law. In large part, this section interconnects with the U.S. Attorney General for permissions and oversight. The ATF Accountability Act wants to add the following text to the end of this section. If a licensed manufacturer, importer, or dealer transmits to the Attorney General a written question regarding the legal status or classification of a product or a record-keeping practice under any law administered in whole or in part by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the Attorney General shall make a ruling or determination in writing on the question and transmit the ruling or determination to the licensee. The way I interpret that is that it is meant to have the AG step in and provide clarification when ATF decides to make a ruling if the licensee wants that. Clarification would be the word that I'd use here. Let's keep going though. The next section says, within 15 calendar days after the receipt of a copy of the ruling or determination, the licensee may appeal that ruling or determination by filing with any director of industry operations having jurisdiction over a premises of the licensee, subject to a license issued to the licensee under this chapter, a request for review of ruling or determination, blah, 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 law speak, which shall include a statement of the reasons for the appeal and the relief requested. This basically says the FFL holder can appeal the decision made within 15 calendar days. It then says, within 45 calendar days after receipt of the request for appeal, the Director of Industry Operations shall render a decision on the appeal in writing and transmit a copy of that decision to the licensee unless the licensee requests a hearing pursuant to paragraph 3. Pretty straightforward. If they want a hearing, they can get one. They have 45 days to issue a decision unless the licensee requests a hearing, right? Paragraph 3 covers the hearing and basically lays out that it has to be legit. The text is super boring, so I'll spare you guys that part. Paragraph 4, the last part, is fairly substantial as well. It says, the decision of the administrative law judge, the director of industry operations, or other officer or employee of the ATF, as the case may be, pursuant to this subsection shall A, constitute final agency action, B, be subject to judicial review under Chapter 7 of Title 5 United States Code, and C, be binding on the United States and the licensee. The way I interpret this section is that the rulings found through this appeal process will be final. This is super positive because it could potentially put an end to the flip-flopping nonsense from ATF that we've seen over the years that happens after a determination has been made. So that covers the text of the act itself, but what does it mean beyond the surface? Well, it would hopefully mean the end to the secret determination letters that Fat D has been sending out sort of willy-nilly. That's the Firearm and Ammunition Technology Division of ATF. The determination letters they send out have the power to control commerce within the firearms industry, giving them immense power. Like this, that's massive that they can just be like, nope, you're out of business. Remember that these are not elected officials or anything of the sort. They're just employees of the ATF and are given the power to control our entire industry. And on top of that, because of them sending out these letters, seemingly whenever someone drops a fire meme about them or puts them in the back of a video, it causes confusion among the industry. That turns into a bunch of people sending things in to Fat D and therefore causing a massive backlog. Like, hey, is this right? Is this right? Can I do this? Can I do that? It creates a backlog. That means that innovative products might be sitting at ATF right now waiting for a ruling because no one seems to have any concrete knowledge of what is or is not acceptable in a lot of cases. The trickle-down economy of the ATF's bipolar rulings and secretive distortion of the truth is flat out unacceptable. It seems like this ATF Accountability Act aims to fix that. I do have some concerns about giving the AG the power to make rulings in this case because our current AG, Merrick Garland, has indicated that he's open to more gun control, and to me, that's a risk I don't really want to take. At the same time, our current setup with the ATF going largely unchecked is out of hand, so what is there to do? You know what? Speaking of that, I'd love to hear your suggestions in the comment section below on what should be done to put the ATF in check. And please, let's keep it civil. I'd also like to hear what you think about this ATF Accountability Act. Let's get this conversation going and see if we can actually come up with some great ideas. That would be cool. In terms of what you can do to help here, I know that's the next question. If you guys want to show your reps that you want them to support this bipartisan bill, there is a link in the description so you can tell them directly. All you do is punch in your info and it'll pick out your reps. It'll tell you who your reps are, and you can send the letter that's preset, or you can edit it for yourself and send it to them. It's a pretty slick setup. Now, after you click the like button on this video, that would be rad. I would really appreciate you guys doing that. Be sure to hit the secret affiliate link down in the description. That would be a big help. And of course, don't forget to get subscribed for more gun news every single week. And as always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.